Hello. I wanted to get a reading vlog going. As you can tell, I'm in the same setting, lighting, and everything as my end of my last vlog. I am already making my way through a book, so I wanted to update you on it before I get too far, because I hate nothing if not starting a vlog and being like, hey everybody, come with me to read a book, but I already finished it. So, current read, I'm having what they call scientifically in the medical community Bridgerton withdrawals. So, the second half of season 4 dropped. But also crying and sobbing. Anyway, I just read Eloise's book in my last vlog, and I continue with Francesca's. So book 6 is When He Was Wicked by Julia Quinn, if you're unaware, adapted to Netflix by Shonda Rhimes. Francesca has had a pretty significant subplot in the past 2 Bridgerton seasons. She's the sister who gets married to John Kilmartin, and half of that name is very fitting of what happens to him, but I almost don't want to give you the synopsis of this because it is so deep in the series at this point and it feels a bit spoilery to even make the joke that I did. But basically this is about Francesca. Do I just say it? Fuck. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but I will just say the tropes in this are he falls first, pining, grief. Let me just dance my way around it. But I am over halfway. I'm page 210. So far, I'm liking a lot of the quotes. I'm just loving Julia Quinn's writing, and I know some people don't think it stands up to time and the TV show is better. I think it's really good. That's crazy. This I have been devouring. I finally have a weekend to get deeper into it, which I do need to finish this soon because I have a book club on Wednesday that I have not started the book for, which is becoming kind of a trend, me waiting till the very last minute. Actually, that's not even starting a trend, it's continuing a trend. I'm a procrastinator. One thing that is slowing me down a bit more as I'm reading this though, but this is not a complaint because I'm loving doing it, is I have a physical copy of a dictionary. I got this from my library bookstore for like $1 just because I am trying to get onto like the analog trend, which I know books are not analog, but just like I need to unplug a bit more. So the way that I've chosen to do that, other than like deleting apps and probably doing what I should be doing, putting screen time caps and stuff on my phone, is I'm like, oh, I'll use a physical dictionary to look words up instead of reaching for my phone. Am I cutting out a lot of screen time with this? No. But I don't know how old or reliable this is because I looked at the definition of sapphic because I opened to that page and I was like, haha, gay. And it said the unnatural attraction of women. So side eye. Yeah, I don't know what date this was published, but it does say 1980 in here, and hopefully that's not the last time this was printed. Oh god, do I have a dictionary from the 80s? I mean, how much do words change? Not much, huh? Anywho, I'm having a hell of a fun romp of a time just looking up words I don't know. Even if it, you know how you think you know what a word means and then you look it up and you're like, oh, that's what that word means. I'm doing that. It's like when you have to use a calculator to do 2 + 2 just in case. I'm having so much fun flipping through my dictionary. It's reminding me of elementary school where they're like, look at the words in the corner. Let me have one new hobby, okay? Even though I look like a fucking nerd. Hi, Dumpy. What are you doing, Dumpy? Oh, do you want kisses and hugs and cuddles, Dumpy? Anyway, so I'm not reading 1 book, I'm reading 2. This is the agenda. I am currently on reading sprints on Patreon. We are currently in a 45-minute sprint. I'm gonna keep going. Did I even really give you my thoughts on this? So far, I'm liking it. I feel like I just can't talk that much about it because it feels so spoilery. I love Francesca's personality. I think I probably care more about it because I've seen her storyline in the show. She's so fresh in my mind. I feel for her so hard. She has bits of Eloise in her. Like, Eloise is my favorite Bridgerton gal, and she's like not afraid to say what she's thinking. She's very headstrong. And the main guy is really nice, and I love his chapters because sometimes the Bridgerton men, or I guess the Bridgerton love interests, can kind of all blend together. But his writing style is so, not even sarcastic isn't the right word, but he'll be like, oh, my night would be so much better if this guy just dropped dead. I look across the table, he's still alive. damn. Like, he has this sass to him, I guess. And he's kind of described as like dark hair, broody, handsome. So it has a lot of heart to it because it is kind of like second chance romance, and it's like an older-ish main character. She's like 25, but still, I don't know. It takes away kind of like, you know how like book one is like the gleaming, she's the diamond of the season, they're perfect for each other. This is a bit more of a realistic, maybe grittier side of society. Anyway, 45 minutes. I'm gonna get my reading on. If y'all see me pulling out my dictionary every 5 pages, no you don't. Highly recommend investing in a dictionary. It's very fun. Julia Quinn is sick for this. She needs to be placed on a watch list. Oh my god. I'm 290 pages in. When I tell you, hi Gordo. When I tell you giggling, kicking my feet, screaming, butterflies. What? Brother, why is this book 6? I needed this 3 years ago. I am appalled at the turn this has taken. And again, I kind of don't want to tell you. The people who have read this, I think you know what I mean. I'm very surprised at the relationship that is forming here. It is such a different vibe from the rest of the series and all the other characters. And I was like, what is going on? I felt like Crazy Frog. I was like, oh, what's going on? I really wanted to read this all tonight, but I literally like put this down to like take a breather and walk around and chill. But brother is so good. It's so good. And knowing how they're gonna change it for the TV series. It's so good. Actually a little bit delusional about it because it's very early in the morning right now. I stayed up very late reading. So unless this takes a dumb ass turn in these pages, this is gonna be damn pretty close to a 5 stars. The only thing is I felt like the first half was kind of boring and repetitive. There's like barely any plot to be had. I hate that I'm already comparing it to its predecessors, but I think that Benedict's book is still my favorite just because the combination of yearning but also plot was very interesting, and this one goes crazy in the yearning department, but there's not a lot of plot. I think there's a bit more emotional depth to it just because of the background of the characters and the things that they've gone through in the past 5 years, but holy shit, the way that the title connects to what they're talking about and doing. Julia Quinn is sick for this. I wish I was a 40-year-old suburban housewife back in 2004 or whenever this was published, because I guarantee I'd be clutching my pearls and going like, oh my god, when was this published? If it's 2004, I'm gonna twerk. 2006, I was close. Yeah, so I was a fresh 9 years old when this was written, but I needed to wait this long to read it so I can let it marinate because it is delicious. And I'm warning you right now, don't fucking do something stupid in these past 60 pages. I'm sitting here posing for a thumbnail like I don't have the worst lighting in the North Hemisphere right now. North Hemisphere? Also not a thing. I desperately need to go to bed, as you can tell from me raving and rambling. I am 1000% going to finish this tomorrow. And also I need to go to a bookstore to pick up some books that I ordered, and I'm hoping they call me tomorrow and tell me that they're in because I really want to go to the bookstore. And it's right off of a train line, and so I kind of want to take the train to the bookstore. Like, I'm from Texas, when do I ever get to say that? Anywho, going to bed, hoping for that call tomorrow, recommending this to every person I pass in the street if I leave the house tomorrow. Okay, thank you, goodbye. I just finished it. Rosie, is it 5 stars? I don't know that I can make it a full 5 stars just because the first half of it was somewhat lacking. I think it's like a 4.5. The ending of it was so strong. I like that this had so much depth to it. Excuse me, ma'am. I think if you're Catholic, you would love this book because there's so much guilt in it. It's just the perfect moral dilemma. I can see how some people might be frustrated with Francesca, but I felt that she was so relatable in this. It's very much The Bolter by Taylor Swift. So good. I loved this one. I've heard that none of the books at the end of the series are that good, so this might be the last one that I'm sitting here giggling over, but I still have Gregory and Hyacinth's books, which feels weird because they feel like children still. However, instead of reading those, I do have one thing I have to get to. Let's discuss. Book club for work is next week. Do you mind? Is it your turn to speak? Exactly. He's like, I will not be silenced. Anyway, the book that I'm reading for my book club for work is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This is about a man and his children who live in this very like rural part of Antarctica, overseeing a seed bank. Charlotte's books are always a bit ecological and a bit mysterious. Like, there's always some kind of suspenseful element, or I'm assuming it will be pretty similar to the last one I read by her. This has been getting a lot of great reviews. The people in my book club have been saying that they are crying about it. It's less than 300 pages. I have a feeling I can finish this today, which would be ideal. I think I read Migrations by her in like a day as well, so her writing is very addicting and very beautiful. The first line of this book is, I have hated my mother for most of my life, but it is her face I see as I drown. Damn. Okay, well Charlotte's gonna keep throwing punches and I'm gonna need to take copious notes while I read because I always come to book club with the stupidest list of questions and reactions to everything we read, so. Hi! I don't know why Mister is so needy today. I guess I'll be giving some Gordo cuddles while I read my next book. Is that what you want? Okay. Okay, hi, I just had lunch. Oh shit, I gotta put my Invisalign back in. Oh, glad I remembered that. It's just before 3 o'clock. I've been making my way through this book while also getting some chores done, so I'm on page 96. I'm really enjoying the suspense. I wasn't sure if this was gonna be exactly like Migrations, where it's like you're left in the dark for a lot of the book and you're kind of piecing things together, and this book is exactly the same vibe. But I think it's so much more interesting because it's not just this man who's isolated, it's also the kids. So it's the impact that that has on the kids living there for 8 years. And actually the rising action of this is that a woman washes up on shore and they're like, hey, how the fuck you survived that? It's very suspenseful about why is she there? What are they doing there? Why is it so barren? I've marked a couple of quotes, even though this isn't my copy, because there's so many great talking points that I want to bring up at the book club. But here's the thing. I just got a call from a local bookstore that the books that I ordered are in, so I kind of want to go take the train there and be like a little city gal, hence why I have my sweater ready to go. And I'm debating if I want to get a finished copy of this. So I know I'm only going to be able to read like 20 more pages of this on the train, but I really liked Migrations, but I don't feel sad that I don't own it. I think I want to purchase it just so I can spend money, so I'm not gonna get it today. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna go pick up my books. I'll show you what I get and you'll come with me. Does that sound good? Okay. Oh my god, well I underestimated how busy a bookstore would be on a Saturday, but that was so fun! Also timed it perfectly because it just started raining real hard, so I missed driving through the rain. I got to read my book while I was transit. painting, is that a word? Instead of just listening to music, so that was nice. It's also like 50 degrees today, so it feels so good outside. But anyway, here's the 3 books I bought. Sorry I didn't record any in the store. It was really poppin'. There was like a book signing going on. Everyone was shopping. It's a pretty small store. But I got 3 books. They're all by Heather Fawcett. I just read Emily Wilde. Did I even talk about that on my main channel? I read Emily Wilde. The book club for Patreon that I do, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, won the poll. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. So I ordered books 2 and 3. These are $30 hardcovers. So this entire book haul was $100 for 3 books. Ow. It was a silly, goofy, fun time. The main character is so relatable. She's like a professor at Cambridge and it calls her curmudgeon-y. She's not curmudgeon-y. She's just independent. She's obsessed with fairies and researching them, and she and the main dude in this are perfect for each other. I loved the plot. I love the writing. Oh my god, I can't wait to continue with these, especially on a nice rainy day. I don't know where these are set, but the first one was very wintry, so if it's still a little bit snowy in your area, I know it's March by now, maybe give that a try. And then ironically enough, the other book that won my Patreon book club poll is Heather Fawcett's newest book. So we all agreed we wanted to read a new release. So the one that won is Agnes Albert's Mystical Cat Shelter. That's a tongue twister to say with Invisalign in. I am so excited for this. It's so cute. This just came out a couple weeks ago, but it's about a woman in 1920s Montreal in like a fantastical setting where she owns obviously a cat shelter, but some hijinks happen, and so she has to hire a wizard or like work with a wizard to help keep her shop and her little shelter safe. And it just sounds so cute. So this is gonna be a book that I'm reading this month, so probably next vlog I'll focus on that. But the new book smell permeating off of these, I'm gonna start barking. It's so good. But anyway, I also got to page 116, so a little less than halfway. Again, I'm still debating, would I want to own a copy of this? I feel like I'm forcing that decision on myself too soon. I'm loving the conversation this is having about raising children in the era of climate change. Obviously, I don't have kids, and sometimes it's hard for me to read books about parenting because I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? But this one is so on the nose about like, is it more cruel to live in the real world where there's a food shortage or everything's getting hot, living in the aftermath of climate change? Or is it worse or better to take them away to this isolated place where it's fend for yourself, but then you're separated from all of humanity? And there's so many other side conversations going on. Like, I love how it talks about there's in such a rural area that the animals around them like aren't scared of humanity, and the irony of that because we are ruining their landscape and their environments without them even understanding that. I also just love the perspective of the kids. I know I said it before, but especially the 9-year-old. He is so innocent and so smart. It's just a very interesting cast of characters, and I think I'm liking that more than Migrations because that was just one single character's perspective. I know I shouldn't be comparing them apples to apples, but I do think this one's gonna end up being a smidgen higher, even though I rated that one like 4.5 stars. The only way to go is up, and this seems to be doing that. It's getting even more sinister. It keeps dropping hints of like, we have to keep this a secret, and I'm like, what are we keeping a secret? I want to know! So I guarantee I'm gonna go back inside and devour the rest of this, as I knew that I would in one day because it's so good. But anywho, I hate leaving my house on the weekends, so I'm proud of myself for doing that. I finished it. It wasn't that good. Didn't enjoy it. Goddamn. Do I regret not buying the book from the bookstore today? Yes. One thing I love about Charlotte's books is that by the end of it, with everything revealed, you immediately want to reread it just to experience all the subtle details woven throughout. Holy shit, she's masterful at what she does. I almost don't really want to tell you whether this is an uplifting or a sad story. I mean, who's to say that my tears were sad tears or happy tears? I'm finally going to this book club as a non-hater because I loved this book. It was so good. I think I held off on really getting attached to it because for a lot of the book you don't know who's a good guy or a bad guy. Once everything became clear, I just was so attached to the good characters in this, and oh my god, it was so complex. I'm so impressed with her writing style. It's so simple but so jarring. It's one of those books where she will throw in like a 5-word basic sentence, but it just hits you. One of the other discussions I really enjoyed in this, and I think by the end became a pretty significant theme, is in the impending situation that the world is ending because of climate change. Do you go mad and think that there's no point of anything and burn the world down since it's already going to be ending? Or do you seek out as much good as you can create and be a light in an otherwise darkened world? I do have a couple of plot holes, and by a couple I mean like literally 2, but they are so spoilery I could not get into it. Actually, one of them I can talk about. Basically the whole book is propelled by the fact that the seawater is slowly encroaching on this island, and like the ice is melting and the power is out, so all the seeds in the seed bank are gonna get drowned and yada yada yada. By the end of it, it's like very hastened of like everything's melting, we're all gonna die. That felt a bit sudden. I mean, not sudden because it was building up toward that, but it was very severe, very fast. But really that's my only complaint about this book. I very much enjoyed it. I mean, fuck, I read it in one day, which I'm not surprised at because I do love Charlotte McConaughey. I think I need to read her other book, When There Were Wolves, and then she's just gonna be an auto-buy author at this point. I can firmly say that her books are suspenseful but very environmentally focused, and I love that combination. I'm usually not like a mystery reader, but the way that she just like doles out information one mysterious glimpse at a time is so addicting. I loved this book. I'm giving it 5 stars. So I need to do a reread of my favorite graphic novel series. I don't know if you know, Snotgirl by Brian O'Malley and Leslie Hung. Sorry, let me get the lighting on me so y'all can see this. This book, okay, this is really intense. These books are so fun. They are exactly my cup of tea. It is satirical about influencers. There's blood and gore. There's like fantastical, or I guess not even fantastical, like paranormal-ish subplots, and it's very mysterious and very murdery and unlikable characters. Volume 3 came out in 2020, and I have been sitting here waiting for a new volume. But slap me in the ass and call me a whore, because why did they drop volume 4 last year and no one told me? It literally says we're so back, and I was gonna flip it and show you, but YouTube would demonetize me. There is lesbian sex on like page 4. It has been like 4 years since I've read these, so I want to reread the first 3 and then continue on with the 4th. I guarantee they're all going to be 5 stars because they're so good. Once I finish these, ooh, I was going to say I don't know what's on the agenda, but I need to do a buddy read with my friend, so I'll introduce the buddy read after these. Anyway, let's do a reread. Good evening. Hi, Gordo. I need to be getting ready for bed soon. It's Sunday night. But today I got through 2 volumes of Snotgirl. 5 stars. 5 stars. Sure, no, yeah, come on over. Please, I insist. He's like, it's bedtime, mother. These are as much of a trip as I remember. They're so silly goofy, but the art is so good and it's like cutesy, but murder. Volume 1 is just so trippy, you don't know what's going on. Volume 2 doesn't have as strong of a plot line, but you start to see more of it unfold. I do not remember what happens in Volume 3. So, I definitely shouldn't read both of these tonight, but
I'm not gonna do it, girl.
What if I really want to? It's also just funny because these are so painfully 2017, 2018. Not painful, I guess, but there was just like a whole chapter at the end of the second one about like the fashion trends, and it was all, oh my god, in 2016 this was big. So it's interesting that these have been going on for like a decade now, it feels like. Caroline and Lottie's relationship is really picking up, which is what I'm obsessed with, so I'm gonna keep reading about my girls. Even though Caroline is low-key a freak, what the fuck is wrong with her? I hope volume 4 finally reveals some of the questions that I have. But some of the fun of the series is that you have no idea what's going on. Hi y'all. If you hear rain sounds in the background, that would be because we're doing reading sprints currently, so I have 7.5 minutes to do this clip. It's the next day. I just read volume 3 and volume 4. Volume 3 was pretty good, but by the end of this one, you're being left so in the dark. It's like, bruh. Okay, I'm ready to have some answers, which I remember was in my review of that one. So when I dove into volume 4, I was like, bruh, I'm ready to figure out what the fuck is going on. And this actually starts to delve into that mystery aspect of it more than I thought it would. I ended up loving this, of course. I've been waiting for this to come out. Excuse me. I will say, volumes 1, 2, and 3 borderlined on being a little bit too repetitive. I said by the end of volume 3 I was ready for some answers, and part of that is driven because it's someone gets murdered or injured. There's weird circumstances around it. The main female love interest is like this enigma who may be like an immortal time traveler, but we don't know. And in this one, it's the volume where they're finally like in an official relationship together, which was so fucking nice to finally see. Even though it's not like a healthy relationship, this almost reminds me of Laura Dean, the graphic novel. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me, because it's like a pretty toxic relationship, but the main character is just so obsessed with her because she's so pretty and so cool that she like bends herself to be better for her. And then it's this whole mystery of like, well, who the fuck is this person I'm in love with? And you start to see characters split off together to help solve it that you never think would work together, and you get to get a lot of the backstory of Virgil, who he's on the back right here. And the one thing I also really enjoyed about this is it really took this up a step with the humor and the modernization. So TikTok is now being mentioned, which typically I'm someone who I hate pop culture references, but this is so silly goofy with it, like the whole influencer side of it. The whole thing is so unserious. This kind of humor style, I was literally chuckling out loud. There's a scene where someone is wearing a construction hat, like one of those yellow hard hats, and then the text on the hat just said hat. It's so silly, and I love that it doesn't take itself too seriously, even though it is like a mystery suspense and there's some deeper messages in it. This volume was absolutely worth the wait. It's such a good ending. It's not like a cliffhanger. I mean, I guess so, but it's gonna lead into a volume that I think will be so interesting. So I'm very excited. Hopefully that comes out this year or next. Maybe in 5 more years would be a bit torturous, but I loved these. I think I'm gonna give them all 5 stars just because I purely have so much fun reading them, and this was so highly anticipated and did not let me down. Now, I do have one more thing I want to read. I'm buddy reading a book with my friend Emily. She was texting me and asking if I had any recommendations for her on books around the theme of turning 30, and this book came to mind because I own it. Suddenly You by Lisa Kleypas. I just was recommended Lisa Kleypas because I love the Bridgerton series and Tessa Dare, and apparently Lisa Kleypas also has like steamy, well-written books. This is my first book I've read by her. I think it's either a standalone or the first in a series. But anyway, this is about a main character named Amanda who's about to turn 30 but refuses to do so without losing her virginity. So she hires like a male escort for the night to just bang one out with. But then I don't even care if this is predictable. Like, of course, it's gonna go beyond that. As someone who is turning 29 this year, yeah. Ow. Oh, and this is blurbed by Julia Quinn. How perfect. I'm gonna get this one started. We're probably gonna do like an hour-long sprint so I can get through the first few chapters of this. Oh my god, it was published in 2001. Prologue. London, November 1836. I probably just did like 17 accents blended together just then. Oh my god, well it's been like a week. I'm back. Even though, due to the power of editing, you will have never known that. But anyway, I'm completely finished with Suddenly You. I will say, for the first half of this, I was devouring. It was so fun. I was a bit let down because the guy was a bit of a goober. First of all, the plot of this I thought was gonna be like sex worker goes to please her and then they fall in love, but they can't fall in love because he's just a sex worker. But it ends up being that the main guy who goes to her house is not a sex worker, so it's like a bit of mistaken identity in the beginning, but he leans into it. So my biggest issue with this is it had a lot of like the early 2000s body image flavor because the main character so many fucking times is like, why would you like me? I'm so ugly. No one's ever gonna want me. It was like very pick-me girl before pick-me girls were a thing. And I get that self-consciousness existed as far back as the first humans, but it was so over the top and it made her come off as more whiny than relatable because also there was fat phobia in this. So I'm like, hey, is this main character not chubby and unattractive and yet you're making fun of fat people? Okay. But the second half of this took the absurd turn of a lifetime. The dude was already on thin ice. He was very overbearing and like questionable because of the whole mistaken identity thing, and he was like a weird capitalist in the publishing world who's like trying to make a monopoly out of all these different publishing companies. But then in the second half, he was just such a fucking loser idiot. Like he was so demanding and so mean. There's a scene where he puts raspberries up her vag and eats them out. That's not what we meant by eat her out. There's so many times where he's like, I need you, and so they have sex, even though a lot of the times she's like, no. Like, I love enthusiastic consent in romance books. I think it's sexy when they're both like balls to the wall in. And the main character was so reluctant so much of the time to even be with him, but he was like, I need you so bad. So he just did not feel like a man written by a woman, and that is my #1 goal in any romance book that I read. Very disappointed by this. It was gonna be like a 4 stars toward the beginning, but the second half dropped this swiftly down to a 2 star. I don't want to spoil, but this has a couple of my least favorite tropes in it, miscommunication and mistaken identity being one of them. It was just frustrating, and this revolves around lies and secrecy, and that can be interesting in some books, but this one just made it so sickly and toxic almost, which sucks because this is my first Lisa Kleypas book that I've read, and I know if I tried something else I might love it, but I was very disappointed by this one. I started putting sticky tabs in it, but you can see by the end I just gave up because I was like, what the fuck is this book? So I'm definitely gonna be taking these out and finding a little free library to put this in. I almost like skim read the last 100 pages of this because the third act breakup went on for so fucking long, and while they were broken up she met this other guy and I liked him more than the main dude, and I was sad when that dissolved. I just really wasn't rooting for these characters. The writing style, especially during the sex scenes, could also be really weird. Like she would compare bodies and bodily functions to things that just did not make sense, and I was like, this is so unsexy right now. The vibes in this were just awkward. I don't know if this is a first edition or what, but Emily, my buddy I was buddy reading this with, had it on audiobook, and she said that that was a revised 2018 version. So we kept comparing like, okay, did yours have this? Yeah, okay, did yours have this? And it was pretty similar. So I think the gist of it is also in the revised version, but I'm also like, what changed? Because if the things I hated were also in the new one, what are we doing? Anywho, I've kept you here for half an hour talking out my ass, so I hope you had a hope you had a lovely time listening to all my goings on. Take down that English degree real quick. I'm literally about to start a new reading vlog because I'm about to start a new book, but you'll have to wait until next time to see what it is. So see you back here in about a week or two. Hope you're having a lovely day. Bye-bye.